Yo, get it! Let's go! Nom 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 nom, baby! Walk the glob! Oh, by the way, Grimes is eaten too. Yo, this team is hungry. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. It's Sunday night, and of course that means viewer games. Everybody was getting them in at the last second today. I was watching them roll in, and I'm pretty excited to see what everybody has on deck. As always, we have a ton of games, and there's always a ton of exciting things going on, so let's see what we have in store. What's going on, chat? Steven? What's good? How's everybody doing out there? I hope everybody's doing well. Hope that the weekend is treating you well, or if you're living in the future, that the beginning of the week is already treating you well. We'll see if my week is going to be calmer than the last few. My guess is no. I do have to warn everybody that I am I'm definitely going to miss some streaming days on this upcoming weekend. I'm hoping that we can still do viewer game reviews. It may be a little delayed. It's all going to depend on a few different things. It's entirely possible that it's not going to happen. There's just the reality of real life things. We may miss another week, and then a couple weeks from now, I have other stuff. There's just real life stuff going on. But speaking of real life stuff, well, it's not really real life, but we do have things in the works. I'm waiting on approval for Fright Night 10. Details for that will, of course, be posted to my Discord as soon as I have them. We'll kind of go from there. I brought it up a few times on stream already, what the tentative details are, but we got to lock them in first. But we do have viewer games to talk about, and I have to let everybody know before we get into them that I am part of the content affiliate program, so of course the Phobies team does give me in-game coffee for producing Phobies content. Gotta let everybody know before we jump into things. But speaking of jumping in, let's get to it. Alright, so there's a little bit of deliberation about zoning into our first game. Our hero here, ManInYellow, going up against our somewhat perennial bad guy in Hoploy. The notes here are barely prevented the heart rush for once, so the confusion here was ManInYellow said that the game was played on 9/30 in the notes, but the game played on September 30th against Hoploy was a loss, and this one was a win, but this was played on 9/3. So ManInYellow, if I picked the wrong game, my bad. The notes are barely prevented the heart rush for once, so I have to assume that we're supposed to be looking at victory. Get a little hydrate action from chat. So we get a standard opener into a more unique opener that is the early Poison Ivy. Now, I don't have Poison Ivy, but I really like the idea of Poison Ivy. Compare it with Leela for a moment. Leela is one more key, one less movement, and I'm pretty sure statistically it's not as good for its actual attack and health and stuff. The reason this is all significant is that you can get Poison Ivy on the board much earlier, and even though you can cure the poison tick the first time when it connects with something is going to go off right away. So you can get an explosive trap early, or trap detonation, if you can tag your opponent with it. So I think Poison Ivy has a lot of value. And on a small map like this, getting it out early means lots of traps. So Hoploy responds with Doom Doom, which is... that is, in fact, a Phobie. In fact, it's a Phobie that's on the board and on the board in this game. I don't really know that I have many other comments on that other than, I don't know about that one. Now, admittedly, Hoploy, level 24 Doom Doom, like, that's a big boy. That's a big boy. Like, there are Dozers that aren't this impressive. There are Barzillas that aren't this impressive. And it, of course, layers on the fact, that it can address these traps. So we'll have to see here. ManInYellow willing to... Nah, you're probably just going to back off. Yeah, I was about to say, you're not going to take the shot here with the Doom Doom on the stim. The movement there just allows for the Bachelor to get to the center. Hoploy with 12 keys left, 11 for ManInYellow, but ManInYellow arguably has a better Phobie setup if you can get Poison Ivy to connect with something. Now, making that happen, possibly easier said than done. But the longer that the Poison Ivy ends up on the board, yeah, Hoploy knows where the traps are, but eventually you gotta step on them. Like, got to do something. You can't just hide from them all game. And if you send the Doom in, maybe you can just blow it up. Now, it looks like we're going to get a very similar set of plays here. Probably a 1-key coming out. Yep. Slide the stabby back. Keeping the traps out of Doom's range. Now, here's the thing. Well, 2 parts. 1, the fact that Doom is not seeing any traps kind of tells Hoploy, okay, the traps are all up here, right? Like, the Poison Ivy's not 100% idle. 2, notably, the Spud is not where the Stabby is. Now, could it be? This is 1200 health. I'm not going to count it up, but it probably lives. An invasion from these 2. The reason I point that out, although... yeah, it could not get hit by a snowball or something. There's a potential that Hoploy says, you know what, the hell with it, I'm going to get aggressive here. Possibly leaving the Henrietta up because ManInYellow is now maxed out. Actually, wait, can Doom see these? Oh, it's only 2, so it only goes to here. It looked like it would... I couldn't remember if it was 2 or 3, and the edge of the arc looked like it might have picked those up, but it doesn't look like it does. So Hoploy's investing in an attractor. Yeah, that's got to be pretty scary. Attractor's going to be scary on these small maps no matter what, but of course, when you know that attractor is as tanky as some people's alligators. I mean, look at this. We actually get the takedown with Gravedigger. Obviously, that is not long for this world, so ManInYellow's answer to the attractor is actually Attractor. Now, given the quantity of HP, or as, well... yeah, we'll just go with this particular thought. So, ooh, I like the block here from Hoploy. This allows for the quick pick on the Gravedigger. Of course, you can supplement with 1 key, 3 to 4 keys. Technically, ManInYellow could win a 1-key trading war, but we'll see how they plan this out. What I originally liked about the push with the Gravedigger taking the center is that if Hoploy didn't go for this block play, it would have been challenging for Hoploy to really get a lot of value out of the pole because you'd have to chew through the HP of the Stabby. It soaks enough hits that you probably don't have enough damage to then kill the Attractor. Retaliation from the Gravedigger and Attractor because you're certainly not getting both. Well, possibly Hoploy has enough numbers. Point is that the answer to Attractor commonly is, I'm just going to have big, dumb idiots that have a gazillion HP. Because you pull those in, you're not going to kill enough stuff, and then I get a full turn of retaliation because my team is in range. We are going to get a yoink here. This is going to hit all the ranged Phobies here. We're going to get a stimmed hit, meaning that this Attractor is, of course, dead. But these 2 are in range, so this is kind of spooky scary. Boom. Coming out to threaten this Bowmangle's triple panic point advantage. So an enormous amount of pressure going down on ManInYellow's heart here. Doom actually backing off. Interesting that both Phobies are backing off. I mean, I don't hate it. The bow playing defense is interesting. I feel like, obviously, if it moved up, it was going to die. That Attractor is a lot of HP from Hoploy. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't look because oof. Big oof. Level 25. 1,548 HP. Like, that's an enormous amount of HP for an Attractor, right? Like, it's not a lot of HP overall, but, like, that's a lot of HP for an Attractor. That's more than a lot of stabbies in the game. Admittedly, low-level stabbies, but you get the idea. So here's where that heart push looks to be making an appearance, and I think this is the correct play from Hoploy. Honestly, possibly should have gone for it a turn sooner, because the stabby could have been, like, here or on the stim, thereby still protecting the center point, which would have just been capped by Boom anyway, but, like, you get the idea. Get the yoink here. Bo is probably going to eat it, or why else would you do this? Yep. So we're looking at 1695. Panic point advantage hero. Yep, there's definitely no traps down there. $676 damage from that Gravedigger. And of course, Doom laying down the beats. 512. You really do need to body block or clear things out, but 1, 2, 3, 4, meaning that another Phobie can come out. 2 keys still remaining for our hero. And there is the creep. I think that's a good play. Creep is fairly tanky, obviously lends the poison here. You're boxing out the Doom so that way it can't actually do much of anything. Stabby's in for a rude awakening here with that trap. Very well played, ManInYellow. Very patient. The Attractor response to the Attractor, I think, was a little interesting. But it ultimately worked out. I kind of feel like Hoploy just threw away the keys. Doom almost killed the creep. I mean, that Doom, this was a level 14 creep. This is a scary Doom, but Doom obviously starts with a lower floor for damage, or a lower starting point for damage, so when it scales, yeah, 507 damage on a Doom is a lot, but it's still only 507 damage, so it's not necessarily going to kill this stuff. I don't think Hoploy needed the Doom. I mean, it's fine, but, like, what did the Doom actually do? I don't think it ever discovered a trap. It certainly didn't defuse any traps. It was fine from a damage perspective because of the level advantage, the level differential, but I just don't like Doom most of the time. And you would think, like, that scenario wouldn't have been bad for Doom, but ultimately, ManInYellow taking it down, GG. All right, chat. Game 2, back on Fornacified. Luca Sus. Electric Overload. All right, let's see what we got. So we're back on Fornacified, and I'm curious what people's thoughts out there. Let me know down in the comments. Do you like Fornacified? I think it is one of the more maps in the game. It's a map. I think this map is fine. I don't feel like... I don't know. The gameplay loop seems to be pretty much set in stone for the most part. Like, we're not seeing it here. Well, we are now. I was going to say pretty much everybody opens up with the same early Phobies, and then it boils down to roughly the same game plans. And I'd be very curious long-term if this is... Like, is it right now just being impacted by, this is what people have access to, so that's what they're playing? You know, like, if you have Boss, you're going to do your early game plan, set up for Boss. If you have Hevo 3.0, you're going to do your early game plan, set up for Hevo 3.0. And then because Gravedigger's there, you can always set up cute scenarios for different things. I don't really see a lot of deviations from the standard play on this. Now, speaking of somewhat standard play, I do like this aggression here. It is unlikely that this dies. That being said, there's 8 keys. I take it back. This is actually a little scary from Luca. So, what can happen here? You can obviously get 2 hits. This can retaliate and kill the Stabby, for the record. Probably dies. Hey, Quandavius, what's good? So, bad guy could Gravedigger break, double hit, and then, like, snowball. Our hero would then have to, like, they possibly kill the snowball. Probably not, though. This is only a level 10 unicorn. So it'd be challenging for this. Like, you could probably get it. Move the unicorn here, hit it with a jar, whatever. Because remember, the snowball would have to be here. There's ways for this and, like, definitely the Gravedigger to die. And with 8 keys, I don't know. This is... it's kind of... I don't know. We'll see. Instead, going for the... Wait, what? Oh, okay. So picking the cat off, electing to leave the Gravedigger, I don't know what bad guy's banking to 8 for. Like, I don't... Not only did they bank to 8, they stayed on 8. Which is just, like, I don't get it. We also get a foul here. Just double checking to make sure I'm looking at the... Like, there's not really a reason to be electrical right now. Okay, now there's a reason to be electrical. We get a fish tank. Mr. Bearer of Bad News, and bad news are what I call my fists. It sounded better in my head. What? This sequence doesn't seem worth it. Like, breaking this block helps your opponent, mostly. You do soften this up, but you don't have a way to... I don't know. Like, they're just gonna kill the... Excuse me, they're gonna kill the corn and walk away? By the way, this is a level 17 jar. We were talking about this the other night. What is it with people and having jars that are, like, wildly outstripping everything else? I mean, it kind of makes sense why it would happen, but... Bad guy, 0... What? Not just 0 fear. This is like... I don't even know. Because jar is fragile, but it doesn't matter. Like, here's the thing. A jar at 1 health and a jar at full health doesn't matter for its damage output. Like, there are obviously scenarios where softening up the jar matters. Here's one of them. Yes, it's on the same team as jar, but, like, you get the point. But, like, I don't get why go after this right now when you don't have any splash. Look at that bloat. Maybe this will be our thumbnail, chat. Little bloat action. I don't know, W's. I can't tell you why. You have like 1,000 games on the list, so I don't know what to tell you. This is cute. This is baiting the foul to come in. Your jar level is 16, but your average phobia level is 9. I could definitely see that being the case for a number of people. Well, Temptress action. Somebody pointed out that statistically bloat is better than Temptress at level 1, which is funny. Bad guy burning the early muffin. I mean, sure. I feel like foul is going to funky chicken the jar. Okay, maybe not. It's going right back into position. Bloat, once again, getting its ass whooped. Could you not have killed it? Wow, bloat sucks. Bloat is just horrendous. Bad guy quickly running out of option, and Sir Punch-a-Lot dives in, but I got bad news for you, because that foul hits back pretty hard. Boom and Hydra, the final Phobies, into Bloat and Temptress. I mean, that is a play you can, in fact, make. I don't know what bad guy's doing here. Erratic, the final Phobie. Panic Point, Advantage, Hero. I'll be honest, this is over. This was over several turns ago. I don't really know what bad guy's plan was. I get the mechanicals into the foul. Foul just kind of came out of left field. A Temptress actually killed something. It can happen, chat. It is a thing. Alright, so bad guy obviously stands here and man fights the Hydra. Or not, they walk away. Now, Foul, Temptress, and Erratic versus Hydra, who dies first? I mean, yeah. This is where, and we talk about it on every stream. The surrender function needs work. This game is over. There's literally nothing bad guy can do at this stage. It is not possible for bad guy to win unless our hero just straight up disconnects. Or passes turn, you know, like something that's just either outside of both players' control or they're just not going to do. Like, they just have to, even if they attacked once a turn, not even twice, it wouldn't matter. The surrender function needs work. There is no reason that bad guys should have to suffer through the rest of this game. They shouldn't drag it out, but, like, just let people surrender. Just let people surrender. Hilariously, Temptress can't even get the second kill. I guess it technically could have, because you could hit with Erratic first, but, like, that's really pathetic. GG, got him. Electric Phobies, true. The notes did not lie, chat. Alright, chat. I was about to say we got a little Firkin Leapercarn avatar action, but Crowley, our hero here, actually with the Oopsie Baby up against the Mildred avatar from Bad Guy. Back here on Detention. This is another map that I think people don't like. But I do like this map. For an ass fight, it's like fine, I think. I do like this map. The notes here are an unexpected Morty carry game. Gotta love a little Morty action. What is it with people and Jill and Ted lately? Is it because it's the spooky season, chat? Is it because it's spooky season? I don't get it. We've seen a bunch of games over the last few weeks where people are opening, even on other streams, where you've observed, like, just people opening Jill and Ted, and I don't get it. Oh my god. Level 18, 17. Hero with a slight level disadvantage, by the way, Giraffe Chilla. I think surrender should be auto-activated if the person's losing hard. I don't think it should be auto-activated. I mean, maybe prompt people, but not like you lose the game before you literally lose the game. Because there are scenarios where, like, you could have one phobie left, they have a whole bunch of phobies, but you could heart rush. And there's no, I mean, there are ways to programmatically try and figure that out. But, like, I don't think it's worth the effort of trying to create what's required. Oh, excuse me. So this is interesting because you kind of have to kill, like, our hero took some damage here that might not have been necessary. And you're a little bit stuck. Oh, maybe not. So you get the kill here, walk cat up, walk cat away. Ooh, you're going to stay there to hit the bow. Alright, I can respect it. I can respect it. The early muffin once again, but this time out of our hero. I don't know about Spud on this map. I know Coulrophobia, Spud is a common pick. I could see Spud on this map, but at the same time, Spud is just so fragile. Spud just feels too... Boo Fairy? Alright. This feels like... Here's my concession. It's a level 18 Boo Fairy, so it's almost 2,600 health. And it hits like a damn truck, but... Same time, I don't know. You can hit once. 1, 2, 3, maybe Fireball? Not enough, so we'll have to see what Crowley pulls out of the hat, because 5 keys available. Ooh, gonna stay there, so that guarantees a Spud death, pretty much. So I was not expecting this to happen, but here's the surprise. Morty, snipe on the canine. Got him. And the Morty lives. Chat, the Morty lives through this enormous Boo Fairy. Boo Fairy sucks. I can't believe you just had to use... It's Stage Fright, right? What's the name of the ability? Yeah, it's Stage Fright. You had to use Stage Fright on Morty. 4 damage. Lol. I need to pay attention more for Morty, because, like, this might be a good Morty map. It doesn't seem unreasonable, to have, like, a bad guy lining up in one of these 2 spaces. I think that's the thing for Morty, is you either need a map that's just, like, enormous, so you get more value out of the long range, and then it's just constantly, I'm going to be buzzing around the back line, and whenever I go in, I'm murking something. Or you can get these surprise hits on close quarters maps where it's, oh, I just have an enormous amount of damage coming out. Nobody remembers Morty. Maybe not nobody remembers it, but nobody really suspects Morty. So 3-1 panic point advantage. We get a blue. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. The bad guy's going to take the kill on Spud, it looks like. I feel like you get a counter kill on Spud here, don't you? Maybe not. 6, 11. You can with Snowball. You can with Snowball. But at this point, you're just waiting for the Boo Fairy to come back online. The irony of blue powering down, the power down. Not nearly as impressive as the Boo Fairy one, but, like, yeah. So bad guy not interested in going after Jar, instead coming and clearing out K9. I don't really agree with the Thunder Rocks. That's the first time you've seen Blue's animation. I've used it a couple times on stream, but not that often. That's a lot of effort to kill this Thunder Rocks. That's a lot of effort. Admittedly, it's a level 17 Thunder Rocks, but that's a lot. Hero out of keys. Bad guy's got to do it with powered down Boo Fairy, Clinico for whatever reason, and Stabby. This game pretty much revolves around, yeah, you do this. If you can kill the Boo Fairy, the game is just over, because you can just walk away from everything else. And bad guy's just kind of hosed here. Like, they have to go in. And what do you do other than die here? Dude, I should get for the thumbnail is this Stage Fright. And put Morty on the thumbnail. I'll go back and maybe freeze frame that so I can do it later. Nobody suspects the Morty. Morty just putting a hurt on the heart. Like, this is what I was talking about. There's nothing bad guy can do at this point. How much health does Morty have now? 44. Sniped. Got him. Want to go back and find that turn. I think it was this one. I don't understand bad guy's opener here. Like, that's a cool thumbnail, and then I could just put Morty over here. Even though he's just a little guy. But yeah, GG there, Crowley. I don't understand bad guy's Phobie choices. It very much felt like they just did whatever. Alright, we get a little Karst action. Karst always good for submitting high-level strategic games. So here we have Beaten Akira and a Tractor on Xylo with monsters only. And they said it couldn't be done. So we'll see what happens here. Bad guy with the classic opener here. Xylo was only with us briefly. And we learned, we were talking about this the other night. That the devs did confirm that they manually massage, we'll say, the map rotation. They mentioned that in Discord publicly. And it's interesting to me what... Like, we don't know what the criteria is. Like, why... We got Home Sweet Home. It was in, then it was out, then it was back in again. Xylo was here briefly. We haven't seen Agora since forever, thank God. I don't ever want to see that map again. But I'm curious what drives the devs to put A map or B map in or out of the particular rotation, because it seems kind of strange sometimes. Here comes the Attractor. Now, I believe Karst has a slight stress level advantage here. Level 15, level 15, 16, 18, 18. This is a slight advantage for our hero, but again, they are kind of handicapping themselves, as mentioned, because they are going strictly monsters. I'm curious to see the new maps, the next Halloween update. Yeah, I'm curious what the new maps are. They're more exciting to me most of the time than new Phobies. Because the new maps will immediately impact your gameplay, whereas the new Phobies can take time. You got to get them first, and then you got to level them up, and you got to, you know. But the maps they can inject life into Phobies that may not be getting use. I see the new Phobie sneak peek. The only one I've seen is that Conductor Phobie, and we were talking about that the other night. On stream, I mean. Not that there's a whole lot to talk about. So Quagmire gets the crap beat out of it, or the snot out of it. But the snot monster, of course, can tank it. We do get a little honey bear action. I kind of like this, but since Karst is going all monsters, you can't do a... Like, if you had Crushmore, you could break this block, for example, and then puke here, turn these two off, and then your opponent has to find a way to invade with your 2-to-1 advantage, because they'll keep this one and you'll have these two. But instead, of course, as mentioned, Attractor Akira. Yeah, the new arrow tiles will be interesting. People have been talking about something like that for a while. People have been suggesting that idea for a while. Trying to pseudo-replicate Team Rocket headquarters in Pokemon Red and Blue. I think it was Team Rocket headquarters. Whatever that one dungeon was that was super annoying. Getting some repositioning action here, understandably. Panic points 3-to-1 in favor of Karst. So here's the thing with some of what I'm going to call a linear strategy from Karst. It feels like the Honey Bear is forcing... Like, Karst wants to force your opponent to interact on their terms. And that's kind of what you want to do in every game of Phobies. Force your opponent not to play their game plan, but play a game plan that has to react to a game plan that you already had in mind. In this case, it's Honey Bear. Honey Bear is allowing for Karst to put heart pressure on, controlling a good chunk of the points, and not really interacting on the axis that bad guy wants to, which is bad guy wants you to try and Phobie fight so that they can just yoink your whole team into oblivion. Karst is just saying, no, I'm not going to do that. And since bad guy's not advancing, this Tickles now has capped 2 points and is going to cap a third. The one where Twitch chat plays took a long time. I actually didn't watch the Twitch plays Pokemon. The concept was interesting. But I didn't really want to follow it. Little noxious action. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's maxed out, of course. All monsters, bad guy, similarly maxing out here. But the panic point advantage is in favor of Karst, and it's incumbent on bad guy to make something happen. Now, I'm pretty sure if a yoink on the heart here happened, it would not displace this Klepto up. But it's possible, and then it would be possible for the Akira to then go off. But I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that it doesn't work that way. We're, of course, going to get the trades here. Noxious, not in position to actually splash onto this, but, of course, bad guy. 10 keys available. Now has an open slot thanks to the Bachelor Death, allowing for a potential Muffin. Or other healer, for that matter. But Karst is very much in control of this game because of this Honey Bear. Bad guy needs to kind of push, or they got to do something. And right now, they're not in position to do that. Now, this game ends not long from now, so I have to imagine that yep. There it is. Bad guy got one step a little too close, a little greedy, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Phobies maxed out here. This is an aggressive invade. But you can't really yoink all that successfully in this position? Actually, I think you can. So, if Akira... Hold on, we'll see what the final position is. Okay, so say Akira steps back. You yoink up to here. Like, Quagmire ends up here, and then one of these two ends up where Quagmire is. Leave the snowball. Boomer comes here. The tractor comes back and pulls the Quagmire to kill it. Ends up in the pit. Then, if the spider got pulled forward, you light it up and kill that. Then... you probably end up losing the rest of your team to the combination of this, this, and this. But you do have 9 keys. The unfortunate part here, and this was a great play by Karst, is that, unfortunate for bad guy, that is, bad guy's maxed out, so they can't just go, oh, I have 9 keys, I'm just going to slam something else on the board and just annihilate your invade. It's just literally not possible right now. Now, a cool play that could be made... Actually, this would happen. So, if you... I don't know how the Akira would work here. Which takes precedence, your Phobie or Quagmire? So, say Akira moves back. Akira, we may find out momentarily, but, like... if you yoink... So, like, you fireball first. You move back. You activate yoinks. It could pull the snowball directly backwards into the pit, which normally would seem bad, right? However, it would be good in this scenario simply because it means that you are able to free up a Phobie slot and then punish the invade further. Like, imagine if they have a Hevo 3.0 to add to this. So, you fireball here, pull back, yoinks. Quagmire moves up, this goes back. You do the pull to kill Quagmire. Now, this and this are clustered in here. And then you Hevo 3.0 to get a big splash or whatever other Phobie you want to add. And then you get 4 hits from this, plus the fire damage on one of these. The spider or the Mr. Tramples. But we'll see how bad guy progresses this turn. They're not doing any of the things that I was thinking they were going to do. Instead, we're going after Klepto. Oh, this is not going to end well for you, bad guy. Oh, okay. You still have the attacks here. I was going to say, like, you can't leave that Quagmire alive. Cassowary didn't go to the heart. It hit the unicorn, but that wouldn't have been worth it either. So instead, bad guy elects to utilize the splash damage. I'm not sure this is worth. Ooh, a little Puff action. Nice! Wait, does Puff have a warm-up? Puff has a warm-up. I thought we were going to get the Fire Breath. A little burninating the countryside here. Not quite yet. Down goes a tractor. Bad guy. Yeah, I figured this was going to happen with Mr. Tramples. Oof. Oof. I think bad guy had a solid, potentially solid turn there to really punish Karst for going in. But at this stage, this game is over. Like, there's just nothing bad guy can do. Now, I don't know if that sequence that I was describing actually would have worked. Like, maybe you just don't, you simply don't have enough damage, because it's Gin Sting and Spud. So, yeah, you could add an attack, basically. Because remember, well, you could put a 3-ranger. So, like, you could have Chuck, or you could have Jar, although Jar obviously represents less damage, but you could pop them onto the vault and then get 2 hits, and maybe, like, something works out there, as compared to 1 AoE hit from a Hevo. But it's interesting how similar these are, and it's just like the head, well, I mean, obviously fire and poison, but, like, the head is what's different. You can see the base of the noxious art asset in Puff. How long till Water Dragon, chat? And Air Dragon. We got a little Blom action. This is very well played, Karst. I don't know, like... So like I said at the beginning, Karst is always good for submitting games that are strategically and tactically interesting. And I think this absolutely was. It proves you can beat busted strategies such as Akira Tractor on Xylo, which is like a heavily favored map for them, with things like mono monsters. However, I think bad guy did not adapt very well. I don't know if it was a matter of overconfidence. It's like, oh, well, they're just going monsters, or they're just not, like, doing anything, or they were so confused by the honey bear they didn't know how to react. But I think that the invade could have been punished way harder. It kind of just wasn't. So I wonder if bad guy spent a lot of time attempting Akira pulls, ran out of time, and just gave up, or if they never even bothered trying to do it. But either way, GG, Karst, well played. Oh boy, here we go. Home Sweet Home, Potenzia, going up against Rossarius, a regular on the stream. Hydra games are fun. Are they like reindeer games, just seeming, I would assume, more deadly? I'm not an expert on this, but I would assume Hydra games are more dangerous than reindeer games. Then again, reindeer are just, like, enormous, so... We get a Numbskull opener here on Home Sweet Home into the Hydra. DT, I don't know if you're in chat, but I have to imagine this one was, we'll say, borrowed from you. I've talked about it before. I'm not a big fan of Slayer or Numbskull. I guess I like... That's my opener. I guess I like Numbskull more than Slayer. The AoE is... I don't know. I just don't like one move. One key Phobies. Jill and Ted are fine because they have Resurrect. But Numbskull and Slayer always make me uncomfortable because they're so challenging to get value out of. That being said, in this particular case, this is 1,300 health. It's only a level 8 Phobie and 1,300 health. That's a lot of damage that needs to come out of this. Like, it's going to be 3 attacks, one way or the other. So it's probably 2 here, 1 here, walk away. Assuming you don't have a jar or something to follow up. The cat here notably body blocks here, because of course they could have gone 1-1-1 and possibly killed it. Triple panic point advantage, backing it up with boom? I guess. Probably just wanted a 1 key to be able to reclaim things, and of course, boom does represent the threat of, oh no, you cannot stay here. The bad guy's going erratic. Your resident quicker picker-upper when you have a Hydra problem. This is awkward. So, bad guy can still snipe this. And safely. So, what can happen here is you just pop out, like you move this up. So that you can hit it with this, and then you either meatball or you snowball, and you probably kill this. And then if the Hydra comes in to get in the mix, it's going to get double tagged by Erratic, and it also can't one-shot the Inoculus, so you just kill the Hydra. I actually would have preferred to see, I think, the Jin Sting where this is. The bad guy's electing to not bother with this, unless they're going to try and kill it in a different way. Oh, creepy action. All right. Get a little creep going. I don't hate that. Creep is, of course, the anti-murder wing. Boomer continuing the pressure. Yeah, Rossarius is kind of on the ropes here. Sort of. Actually, they could stabilize pretty quickly here. I don't think the Hydra dies this turn. Or maybe it does? Wait, what? Okay, it's at 700 health. So 2 hits... A meatball. No, meatball won't be live. 8. I don't think there's any way this dies. This is yet another scenario where if this was almost any other 1 key... Okay, well now it's 100% protected, but like... The Boomer specifically, because it can't represent any damage, is problematic here. If you were able to threaten damage, like hypothetically, you could kill this Erratic. Given the creep sacrifice, it wasn't going to happen anyway, but... Hydra going in, 0 fear. I kind of like this. 6 keys available for our bad guy. Snipe on the Hydra. A little stemming of the bleeding here. Unbearable. I don't know about that. I don't hate the idea of just putting something here right now so that you can protect. Because otherwise this Blinky potentially flies in and, you know, just pressures. You know, bad guy, or our hero rather, could push, claim this back, send Boomer in. Now you have a 3 panic point advantage and something standing on your heart to threaten more damage. But... I don't know about unbearable. I don't like this quantity of 1 movers on this map. This feels like you're just asking for trouble. The Gargles to try and seal the deal here. An ultimate Phobie. I think Jin Sting would have been better off either in this position or this position. Because you're now down to 1 key as bad guy. Maxed out on Phobies. And, like, this is exactly it. This may have literally come down to just that one mispositioning error. Because you're just not killing this Blinky right now. Oh, no. I don't know about that. For bad guy, I mean, like... So the issue here is... The only way as bad guy to win in this scenario is you can't let your opponent claim the panic points back. Obviously, the Gargles can just claim it and then lock that one down. I guess maybe this is fine, because so Rossarius allows this to happen. You're down a panic point. You just claim this one back. Our hero can't get in there. But Blinky just represents a lot of damage on the heart. Yeah, Gargles is now in a... There's just no way because of the one movers. First, you one movers. Honestly, if this Jin Sting had gone to the top here instead of swinging to the bottom, I don't know that our hero can make this push. Because then the Jin Sting is there ready to greet them right off the bat. And Blinky, this feels like more of a Blinky game than a Hydra game. Sort of. Blinky, at the very least, puts in the work at the end, GG. Yeah, that was interesting. I didn't like the one mover response in Unbearable. I didn't like the Jin Sting positioning. And it's easy to say this in hindsight, because you look at the game and you go, oh yeah, that's how you lost. Don't do that again. But in the moment, it's a difficult call to make. Or it's very natural to just send it the way that bad guy did. But definitely a good showcase of the Hydra opener. Hydra was able to control that center of the map very well, despite its ultimately untimely demise. Due to the control afforded by it, you're able to just push a ton of damage. So well played, GG. All right, looks like we've got a little async action coming in from Dino Nuggy 710 themselves. My first game against Boss, and with help from the Phobies Discord, I was able to slay the beast. Well, we do like to see Boss bite the dust. Boss is usually the bad guy in a lot of scenarios. Let's be real. And very few people are happy to see Boss on the other side of the board. In fact, I would argue to say no one is happy to see Boss on the other side of the board. But we do get the early horrors and strangers play with the lockout. Bad guy, I don't know what your game plan was, but yeah, you're kind of forced into that Gravedigger. Slayer and Gesundheit, and an early bank from our hero here. What? Alright, I mean, this is a thing that can be done. I don't know why bad guy... So, bad guy could have safely taken this. There was literally no reason not to do this. You could go here, get a pot shot, and then the Gravedigger... Like, this was just a mistake. There's no reason not to take this. Bloat and Hevo 2.0. Okay. I don't really get the bloat. I mean, I guess for Slayer. I was about to say, you have to boop here. That guy also banked a 10. What is happening right now? Bring on the weird games. Speaking of boss, there he is. That guy right there. That guy's a jerk. Ooh, fairy. That's a thing that can happen. Ooh, tanking it out. Okay, so I don't know at what point the Discord chimed in and said, oh, do this to answer boss. We're looking at a level 4 boss. Which admittedly is kind of low level compared to everything else. But it still represents a ton of damage. So the question is, was the Boo Fairy a response to boss? So I get the temptation here, but I'm a little surprised bad guy didn't swing to the top and then have the, excuse me, have the Gravedigger body block for boss. Because right now, almost everything can connect with the boss. We get the somewhat belated... Oh, what is happening right now? What is going on with this bloat? What is happening with this bloat? Bloat, you okay, buddy? Are you okay? I feel like you need to see a doctor about that. Especially if it persists 4 or more hours. So the power down here, 744. So this is actually a 0 damage boss other than the fire application, which is relevant. It is certainly relevant. Took a bunch of damage on a lot of the phobies, but still representing a decent threat. By the way, that guy's dimensional. Womp womp. Oh no. Really? I don't know about that. So, this Boo Fairy can't solo... Yes, it can. Never mind. Because this was damaged. What I think should have happened is you put the Jin Sting where the Inoculus is and prevent the pull forward. Like, you can still kill it with that, but you can prevent the Inoculus from being in position. That keeps the Jin Sting from just dying here for no purpose. Like, 4 keys to body block does not feel good. Also, I think it's probably worth killing the Inoculus here as our hero. So, like, you send in the Spud to hit first, and then you boop. You do get this hit on the boss. I don't know that it's necessary. Also, I don't think you needed to put Clinico in the fire. Down goes Boo Fairy. Boss still powered down, and now we get a Thunder Rock. 0 keys for both players. So this boss has to go away this turn. It has to be killed this turn. And in fact, the damage is there. And at this point, bad guy's just hosed. Like, yeah, you'll get a Thunder Rocks connection. Yeah, you'll get the Inoculus connection, but... I think there's a few different things that could get cleaned up on both sides in this game. Where realistically, yeah... The Phobie choices were weird. I think bad guy frivolously threw away not just several advantages, but several Phobies. So kind of the same thing. Level 1 Thunder Rocks. It was. I mean, it's a low enough stress level game that I kind of get it, but at the same time, I don't know, they mattered. Boop. Dino Nuggies for the W. Dino Nuggies for the W. Yeah, I don't know about... I feel like this was bad guy through. I think they could have gotten... I don't know. I think there's a lot of value that was left on the table in a number of bad guys' turns. Which, again, I don't want to take anything away from Dino Nuggy for producing the W, but I think there was a number of things that bad guy could have done differently that would have probably flipped the tables on this game, even with that low-level boss. Trying to think if there's anything to add, but that I think that covers it. Nightmerking, Mount Blight. Just be careful, dudes. It can happen. All right, let's see what we got. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if I have wildly different opinions on maps than most of the community. I mean, I think the people who have the most... or the greatest deviation from the community has got to be Hakunay, because Hakunay loves every map. And I just don't think that's absolutely not a common opinion. Absolutely not a common opinion. I should try and enter into the next map contest. Because I do think that there are some design rules, we'll say, for maps that need to be more rigidly followed. Namely, I think aggression needs to be promoted more overall in maps. Yeah, a little wiggy action showing up. Bad guy notably leaning into the Gesundheit plan, which, sure, whatever. This seemed a little wasteful to use these 6 keys to kill the cat. If you use one of them and then kill the cat with your cat, bad guy's going to have to sink 2 attacks in with this Spud, thereby pinning it in place in order to retaliate. If they do that, I think you then kill the Spud on the following turn. So I think that would have been better. The bad guy's actually going pretty aggro with this Quagmire, and it's fairly safe. 6 keys for our hero. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, not going for the double hit. Is there enough damage here to just kill this? Sure as hell doesn't seem like it. Nope, just content to poke at the Quagmire. I feel like you could have killed this. What was it down to? Wait, what? I think it was down to like 1,400. Or 1,300. Maybe not. Maybe you can't. Yeah, we get a little daisy going on. So the cat death means that nightmerking now can add another Phobie to their team, but this is a pretty significant orange advantage on the panic points. Kill it with Cupcake, probably. I feel like all the math on so many things changes because of Cupcake. Which, long term, Cupcake is going to... Like, let's be real. Cupcake is problematic, right? Bad guy with just no regard for their Phobie's health. Pop, pop goes the mucus monster. Got him, I guess. But yeah, Cupcake is an issue long term. Because, like... I think the biggest issue with Cupcake is this. It promotes more defensive play. Because... So, bad guy went in here with Quagmire, right? Without a Cupcake, it's like maybe you can get it. You probably can't. You know, you take an educated gamble by sending in Quagmire up here to make the aggressive push. If you assume your opponent has Cupcake, I don't think you can safely go in there. So when we hit the point of Cupcakes being common, I think it's going to change an enormous amount of calculations on a ton of maps for seemingly innocuous plays like this. Where it's, oh, I'll just send something up there. Now it almost has to be a 1 key so that you don't risk losing something important. And if that happens, like if you're stuck with the 1 key, you run into this weird scenario where, again, you're just constantly trying to... Like, the game just slows down. Quick pick here on the Stairmaster. That one was just overextended. Panic point advantage remains orange, though, so we are getting a bunch of pressure onto our hero. 35-25 left on the heart. Really? I mean, I guess. Yeah, that's fine, I guess. Ooh, this is good. This is a good heads-up play, because this will die to lava. Cupcake can be game-changing. Cupcake is game-changing. Huh. This does not look great for our hero here. 12 keys available, though. Only 5 remaining for bad guy at all. Alright, so that's a dead spider. But how are you dealing with the rest of this? That's a Sparky. Sparky to answer Droney, obviously. Get him. Noxious gonna take a quick vacation day. Stemming the bleeding a little bit here. I mean, obviously, bad guy could aggressively push. And given that we're now down to 21-15, I wouldn't hate to see an aggressive push. It probably gets stymied. Down goes Jar. I think this could have been done differently by bad guy, and they could have got... Ooh, Sizzle! I think bad guy could have pressured differently. Possibly taken 2 panic points. The north one and this one. Very patient game out of our hero here. It's very easy to go into panic mode when you're looking at this on your heart health. Wait, can bad guy not just kill you by... Oh, they can't take the bottom panic point. Seven, so 6. Isn't our hero just dead here? Like, couldn't bad guy just take this point, and the game is over? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's 6 points. It'll be 1,200 and change. Like, did bad guy just throw? Am I missing something here? Am I not counting this properly? Because bad guy backs off here, and, like... I'm pretty sure our hero's just dead. Like, you'll have to correct me, chat, but I'm pretty sure they're just dead. Spud taking the beating of its life. I mean, at this point, our hero has the game kind of on lock. There's no way for, due to the immobility of Gesundheit and the Phobies in question, there's no way bad guy can push the heart. It's going to have to be claim panic points, so there's 0 chance you're killing all of our hero's Phobies. I wonder if Sparky's movement in development was nicknamed the Electric Slide. It had to be, right? It's interesting that they kept the rattle on Sizzle. Because, like, Puff got... I mean, yeah, there's other... Obviously, you get the weird ear hair fire on the Cobra. But, like, Noxious to Puff got a completely revamped face, and then the animation on the wings and stuff. Obviously, the recoloring, but... It's interesting that they kept the rattle. Finally managed to catch a stream again since I have tomorrow off. Nice. Ah, that's fine. I wasn't sure which game, but hopefully we got the right game. Yeah, I'm pretty sure bad guy just threw super hard here, chat. I mean, I do that all the time, so, like, it happens. But I feel like bad guy just caps 2 points on that turn, and the game immediately ends. But as it is, it looks like our hero is going to take this one down. Shocker, I know. Who could have seen this coming? I don't know what the point of this was. Why? GG. Got him. Yeah, I'm pretty sure bad guy just threw that game, chat. Like, I don't know. I could count it. Like, I could count the panic points. I can actually add up the damage. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to. Next one up, Rossarius. We're on Lights Out. Speaking of maps I don't like. Lights Out. Got a few card missions on a sneaky hog. Brought him out to play and gotta admit, it's a fun Phobie. I think we know what we're gonna see here, chap. I think we know what we're gonna see. And I'm looking forward to messing around with the camouflage stealth Phobies. Even I don't like Lights Out. It's just such an awkward map. And honestly, I think that this map is somewhat solved. You know, like the Alien Engineer game plan of drag the game out, get an attractor on the board when there's very few keys or no keys left, and then eventually just attractor bully them to death. Meaning either they walk into the attractor and get blown up, or they run away from the attractor and you sit on panic points forever. That seems like a fairly stable plan. You know, you open up like this, Gravedigger into Corn, into trading 1 keys, and then you get an attractor on the board at some point, and then the game just devolves from there. Is it beatable? Yes. I think Hydra, Cerberus, or even Gator, Quagmire, those sort of things, tanky guys like we've talked about before, are sort of anti-attractor, because they get pulled in, they don't die easily, and then you can take over. Is that really viable here if your opponent doesn't represent the early attractor? I don't know. Because, like, if you slam an alligator and they don't go attractor, it probably just gets torn apart by whatever their actual response to it is, right? Hog Rider. The creepy devil. Was that from Clash Royale, I guess? So yeah, it definitely seems like we're doing just the trade down plan. Now, our hero here does have the advantage of Corn being able to place traps, setting up additional threats. Who submitted this game? This is Rossarius. Is our hero here. In the blue trunks. I consider Gonzo plus Boss anti-attractor, and that's a big investment, though, so it depends on the map. I mean, to be honest, you could go Gonzo Boss here as well. But I'd agree that it is, because that was one of the comments we've talked about before, where people want to see Gonzo Boss nerfed, which is fine, but it does probably need to hit certain breakpoints, such as, yeah, it needs to kill attractor 100% of the time. There's Creepy Devil. Let's see. So what is the level of this Creepy Devil? It's not going to let me check. The level 12 Creepy Devil in a game where it's not... I mean, these are actually... This is a level 16 Gravedigger. So our hero might have a slight level advantage, but they are putting themselves at a disadvantage with a little Now You See Me action. This is enough to snipe this attractor. If I'm bad guy, I'm kind of concerned about this right now. Yeah, you're right, DT. Almost 1k damage. It's a lot. So the invisibility lasts 3 turns. So you have a little bit of time here. I think bad guy here is trying to be aggressive about positioning to crush this thing. This is a good pick, though. This is a good pick. So wait, I assume that you do, as bad guy, you do not see that the bees hit this here. Because otherwise, you clearly just walk the Gravedigger here to kill it, right? So I do like this play from bad guy because this has a double purpose. One, you could potentially just kill this thing. 2, this also protects Hematic Gin Sting. That was weird. Unfortunately for bad guy here, yeah, you're about to get clobbered. Didn't even need the Creepy Devil. Instead, just going in on this Hematic. Get chomped. Actually, it's more Tasmanian Devil-like, I think. It definitely feels like Looney Tunes Tasmanian Devil. Yeah, bad guy's just screwed at this point, right? Like, I mean, I guess they could Clinico and try and drag this game out and make something happen if our hero makes positioning errors. But how bad does it feel that you let the creepy devil get its assassination in, and then it lived? You didn't even kill it afterwards. That's just got to be demoralizing. Jar probably dies to more bees, but then this dies to the counterattack, so... Bad guy's only real advantage that they have a panic point advantage. Really? Spud? That's a thing you can do. Surprise, motherfucker. What's funny is there was a guy from one of the better players in Mythgard. It was, and they would stream. It was bad, motherfucker. A creepy devil getting in there. Bad guy down to a solo hematic Ginsting. I don't know, Chad. How many times have you seen invisible Phobies? I know that sounds a little weird, but like, it's this and Sasquatch, right? How often do you see them? Sasquatch clearly... I guess Sasquatch is more rare than Creepy Devil. I don't really have an opinion on them, because they just... And again, no pun intended, but like, they just don't show up very much. Does Creepy Devil kill a Tractor on level? No, I think a Tractor has 900 health. Because I could see, like, Creepy Devil on a stealth mission to kill a Tractor. So this is 750. So this plus Jar is a dead Attractor. Is that worth... You're going to lose both, right? You have to assume Creepy Devil goes in, it's not getting out. And then you possibly lose the Jar because you have to overextend it in order to poke at the Attractor, right? I mean, you could do other things like Klepto Splash probably gets it. Sasquatch is better. Problem is it's 8 keys, so I think it... To me, and I can't put... I'd have to go get the card. To me, the Phobie costing more for the same ability means it's worse. Like, you have to be... Oh, it's 5? I still think it's worse. It's just not... It's less worse. You can one-shot some 6 keys with Gonzo, but, like, what are the 6 keys? That's the question. So, like, a Tractor, that's a good target, but you can absolutely kill a Tractor with Gonzo Creepy Devil. Like, that can be done. I don't know offhand what the damage is for Sasquatch. 1,300. That's with the... I'm assuming that's with it. So then Gonzo at level 1 is what? 300? So it's 1,600 damage? I think that one-shots Klepto and Crushmore. If that is true, then yes. Sasquatch, I would say, is better. Because then you can snipe very relevant Phobies. It probably dies in the process. Oh, Klepto is 17 at level 1? Alright, then that's a problem. Like, yes, you could always say, oh, well, then I'll just throw Jar in the mix. But now you're talking a Jar, a Gonzo, and Sasquatch that did a stealth mission to get in there. 1,300 is a lot of damage, but if you lose 8 keys to kill 6, that's generally not good, right? Because you have to assume that if you extend your jar to finish it off because you need that little bit of extra damage, it's going to die. And this all presumes that you aren't in a... you aren't losing board state because the Sasquatch is running around. You have a Gonzo that needs to be somewhat in range of it and therefore may not be positioned properly. And then you have to have this jar, which normally needs to be protected, but now has to be exposed. I mean, you can definitely cut things down to size. I don't want to, like, crap on the idea as a whole. But unfortunately, this mechanic is just very rare due to stress levels and actual rarity, so we haven't really seen it utilized all that much. I don't think Sasquatch should be used as an assassin that goes in alone. I think Creepy Devil is better for that, but I don't know what it kills breakpoint-wise. I mean, the threat with an invisible Phobie lurking around of, hey, I could just show up at some point, and that invade that you think you lived through, now I'm destroying everything because I just annihilate one of your guys, is a serious threat. Like, that's a thing. Yeah, assassinating a Jin Sting or something, and you clearing out, like, if you kill even a smaller key, like Jin Sting, a lower cost key, and that allows the rest of your team to focus down everything else, like, that's a big deal. That matters. That does matter. Alright, SlientFate, our hero here. Pretty sure SlientFate is new to game breakdowns. By the way, if you submit games, make sure you favorite your games. We don't want them falling off your profile, at least, you know, barring patches. But we're here on the Big House. Daisy, is this the right? Yeah. Daisy gets hungry. Well, it's hungry, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of I's, and there's not actually an I in that word. So this is going to be weird. But we'll see what happens here. Notably, as we were zoning in, stress level 11 for our hero. So very low stress level game. Definitely going to be fun to watch. Like, this is literally, we have some level 1 Phobies in the game. I'm curious how, like, Gravedigger is guaranteed for the starting collection, right? How have you gotten no upgrade cards for Gravedigger? Little Bow Mangles action, alright. Ah, you love to see it. Somebody definitely did this to SlientFate earlier on. Get the bow mirror here. This could have been a kill here. Right? I'm pretty sure this dies. Maybe not. It's possible this lives through leap, attack, jar. I'm not sure. We're about... Oh no, bad guy. It must live through it. 637 for... No, it 100% would have died. 637? Yeah, this should be dead. This should be dead. But instead, it's not. It lives to fight another day. Panic point advantage hero. Obviously, Cat's going to eat it here. I do love seeing these blocks come down. It is fun. It's definitely a blast from the past because you don't commonly see these plays anymore. It's very difficult to set up at higher ranks. So it's always funny when it happens here. Obviously, Murder Wing is going to eat it. Bad guy banked to 6. Let's see what they've got in store here. Erratic. Terror of the early ranks. Probably my first favorite Phobie. Is Terraform up? Terraform is up. Bad guy down. Yeah, bad guy. You need a Gravedigger of your own. I have to imagine you're going to do that now. They're not. Don't really agree with that one. I guess they can destroy this one, and that's fine. Since this was the earlier one. K9000. Sure. Gravedigger's definitely put in work. Alright, this is an interesting call to make here. Okay, so I have to make the assumption here that blue is anti-erratic, right? Why else would you have it? If that's the case, why is blue not here? Like, I guess it's possible that bad guy somehow kills Gravedigger, puts the K9 here to detonate the blue without it touching erratic. Because, like, if you put blue here, K9's just going to come down and kill it, right? But if you put blue here, the splash should kill the blue. I feel like blue should have been here is the point. So how brave is Bo feeling? You were saving blue for K9 and erratic. That never should have happened, but I get why it did. Pop. Pop goes the blue. I just got a weird feeling of deja vu, chat. I got a weird feeling of deja vu with this game. 7 keys remaining for bad guy. Only 3 for our hero, but of course Sheep is now in position with a powered down erratic. The Sheep is likely, well, maybe not likely to live through this, but this is not going to go well for bad guy. This is a little risky, because it is possible for bad guy to kill the Daisy and then Droney, but there's no real way, like, especially at this low of a stress level, there's no way to know they're going to have that. I don't know that it necessarily gets them a whole hell of a lot. But the power down on erratic is significant given that... I think bad guy needed to clear the Sheep out and then let erratic hit Daisy and Jar. Reason... Oh, no, bad guy. You can't muffin the erratic, and not like it matters anyway. I wonder if that's what they were thinking, that they could muffin the erratic, not like it mattered because it died to the poison, but... Down goes Bo. Panic point advantage, 4-1 for our hero. Yeah. Yeah. Remember when Eternal Night was everywhere, chat? I feel like Eternal Night is still underrated. Eternal Night can provide a lot of value. Almost Dead Repeller, not quite. In the very early ranks going, Erratic makes even more sense after you see the opponent use Bone Mangle, since Fish Tank is in the same starter pack, may not have other high-cost units outside their own Erratic. Exactly. I mean, Erratic is solid enough, even ignoring the electrical damage. Erratic is solid enough in the early ranks to carry you. It's a fairly tanky, ranged Phobie that also allows you to set up and learn cool plays, including ones involving Gravedigger by extending the range artificially. I think Erratic is a really good starter Phobie for a variety of reasons, but didn't quite pull it back for Bad Guy here. GG. What are my thoughts on having a free Phobies rotation in the game? Kind of like how a lot of other games have some units that are free to use every week. That's an interesting question. So let's make some assumptions. They're not going to give you stress level Phobies, right? Like, no one's ever going to get a Kira on free rotation. Like, that's just not going to happen. So if we assume it's any Phobie you could get out of packs, how does it figure out level? I don't think there's an issue with giving people complex ones in free rotation. Because it's like, these aren't part of your collection. If you want to use them or not use them, whatever. Someone made a suggestion to unlock Phobies by doing some quests. There should be alternative ways to get Phobies, even if it's just literally buying them. I'm not going to lie, like, if every Phobie, 100% of the Phobies, I guess maybe not the stress ones, all the ones you could get in packs, if they were available to buy for $20 a piece, I think that would be better. Yeah, there's an issue with pay to win and blah, 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 but it would be better than the current system. Maybe just your average level. Because the thing is, like, say there's a free rotation, but you get those Phobies at level 1, it very quickly doesn't matter. Even if you're stress level 30, if you get a level 1 Phobie, that, depending, like, there's a good chunk of Phobies that are worthless at level 1. Free boss stupid monkey for a week? Yeah, like that. Imagine the entire ladder goes boss Gonzo for a week. Like, those are the things that happen that aren't, like, it's a problem, but it's not a real problem. You know what I mean? Like, it sucks. But honestly, like, it's better data, I think. I don't really have a problem with that idea. I can't think of any issues immediately, other than it's completely skews data for a period of time. Because it's like, say it's Boss Gonzo are free. Everyone's running that. And, like, okay, it's going to artificially push all the statistics to 50-50 because everybody is going to be doing it in every single game. So one of them wins and one of them loses. So just through sheer weight of numbers, it's going to push all their stats towards the center. They can compensate for that. Like, just literally don't track the stats for the Phobies that are in the free rotation that week. However, the free rotation will impact people's strategies overall, thereby skewing the stats. I am still of the opinion they should not be, like, none of the stats matter for balance reasons until you hit Sum of All Fears 2 or 3. Like, it just doesn't matter. Yes, it matters if a certain Phobie is oppressive at low levels, but I think that can also just be observed. And most people who, like, if you're going to stay with the game, you're not going to stay at that level for very long. You know what I mean? Like, if Cerberus is a problem until stress level whatever, because just collection size, that sort of thing, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I don't really have a problem with the idea of a free rotation. I don't think it's going to solve that many problems, though. Even if we assume that it just gives you something at quote-unquote average level, which could be still really bad because, well, it's going to be really skewed because we watched a bunch of games where people are fairly low stress level, but then randomly have a level 17 jar. So like that outlier is going to kind of mess it up. But putting all that aside, I don't think it solves that much for people. The rotation couldn't possibly be more than like 3 Phobies. So it's not unlikely that for the majority of the player base, it's going to overlap with your existing collection. And then 1 week, the rotation will be like Rusty, Dozer, Bad Sushi. And it's just going to be atrocious. Like, no one will care. Was thinking they should just give some basic ones on a rotation. See, I don't think they should do that. I think they need to give people, like, you have to have the interesting Phobies, maybe even weight it towards the interesting Phobies. Because the whole point of free rotations is to entice you to buy. Yeah, I think it would be better if they curated it like the maps, like they'd have to pick it. The thing is, like, the free rotations in, say, a MOBA are not there to benefit anyone. They do tangentially, but the only thing they're intended to benefit is the company. Because it's like, hey, look at this cool toy that you can have for a little while, but I'm going to take it back. It's like the drug dealer thing. The first taste is free. The first hit is free. The other ones that get you. So, like, the idea is that the free rotation entices you. It's like, look how cool Creepy Devil is. How awesome is Attractor. How amazing is Grimes. And then it's like, oh, I don't have those anymore. Let me go buy a bunch of packs. So from a player perspective, like, it's fine, I think. Give people the opportunity to try stuff. I don't know if it materially solves any of the issues. Getting more people high on Phobies would be good, even if it's just for profit, though. I don't know that it will. Because here's the thing. So, like, say you're a brand new player. You come in the rotation, and it's like Grimes, Attractor, Beauty. I'm just making stuff up. Say it's Grimes, Attractor, Beauty. Those are 3 interesting, not necessarily all equal power levels, but like they're interesting. They do cool stuff. They look cool. You know, all the stuff going for them, right? Then they get taken away after a week, and you're like, oh, I really want those. We all know how many fucking packs it's going to take to try and get those. Well, maybe not the exact number, but it's a lot. Players are immediately going to hit the major in-game issue with Phobies, which is the economy. And if that's true, we're just band-aiding the problem. You know what I mean? Like, I think the answer is make it easier to get Phobies. Then you don't have to implement this ancillary system, which maybe it's fine to do that anyway. Like, I'm not opposed to it, but like, if the issue is people can't get the Phobies they want and get them to the appropriate level, solve that problem. They gotta have a buy X week after it passes or something for people that really like those. I mean, I think that, I said that earlier, that should exist anyway. It should be like, it's common, uncommon, rare, ultra rare, right? A common is like $1. An uncommon is probably going to be $3. A rare is $5 and an ultra rare is $20. And you can just go buy that Phobie for 100% of the Phobies in the game. I doubt that math works out, because the reality is that packs will always end up producing more money for the company because of the variance. Like, how many months have I been doing pack openings, right? I mean, I haven't done one in a while, but like, you know, I get my content affiliate coffee and it goes into opening Dreadfuls. How many of those have I opened and I still don't have a full collection? Now, imagine if somebody was paying money for that amount of coffee every month and still wasn't getting it. Like, there's multiple different problems, and it depends on what the free rotation is trying to solve. If the idea is changing diversity of phobies that are used, it could do that. If people want it to give you a taste so that it's like, oh, look at these cool things that you could do, okay, I mean, that's fine. But it definitely doesn't address the problem of people's collections, like actually long-term, permanent collection problems. Unless you get 4 new in each Dreadfuls every time. I mean, I've gotten a lot of new Phobies. Like, I can't really complain with my Phobie collection, but the reality of the situation is I still don't have them all. It's been over a year. I've been in the content affiliate program for, I think, at least a year. I don't remember exactly when it started. And they've been giving me the coffee for doing stuff, and it's like, okay, imagine if somebody was spending that money every time. Free rotation would just be... The thing is, I don't think new players need that. I think intermediate players need that. New players actually need probably less phobies, to be perfectly honest. Like, if you only had the starter phobies forever, I think the game is very interesting just with those. And there are problems with having too much and overwhelming new players. I think for new players, the free rotation would be actively bad. I think for people that are beyond the like very new stage in the either early intermediate or actual intermediate stage where it's, you know enough about the game, there's still a lot for you to learn, but like, you know the basics, you understand the interactions, you have a clue of what you're doing, and you just want to like, well, what are all the cool things that can happen? That's what the free rotation's targeted at. But I don't think free rotation really materially solves anything, other than it band-aids the collection problems, aka the economy problems, where it's, hey, my games are somewhat stagnant because I just can't get new phobies, and everybody else is in the same boat. Like, it sort of band-aids that problem, but it doesn't, like, realistically solve that problem. Because that's where you need meaningful changes to the in-game economy, which I've always said are a thing, or needed to be a thing. All right, chat. One of our last games for the night. We got Renamon here. Outwin their damage on my heart. Lol. It's always funny reading some of the notes on the games. Wait, time out. The glob opener. The glob. I don't know about that. The bold move there, Cotton. I mean, they're probably never going to solve the level collection problem. They created the problem themselves to earn money. I mean, yes. 100%. If they wanted to solve the problem, they could. They also could have done it a long time ago. But they chose the current in-game economy for, presumably, fiscal reasons. And the fact of the matter is, they're probably not going to... I mean, that's why whenever people bring up they should have another ladder that's all level 1. No, they're not going to do that. It's just not going to happen. Aside from all of the actual problems of, like, nice, we get a little walk the glob. Aside from all of the actual problems of, hey, we're splitting the community even further. Like, imagine if you're high ranking and now the queues are going to be even longer because people are in different modes. But it completely removes what I assume, I of course don't know, but what I assume is the primary income in the game, which is people needing levels. It would be awesome to have that, but it would never work. 100%. I agree with you. And I hate to be the wet blanket with that stuff. Wait, are you really going to walk the glob right now? Yo, get it! Let's go! Nom 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 nom, baby! Walk the glob! Oh, by the way, Grimes is eaten too. Yo, this team is hungry. Probably use this for the intro. Feel like level 1 mode would hurt the normal mode a lot. No one would play the normal mode. The only way that you get people to play the normal mode is if you give 0 rewards for... Oh no, Paschetti! Spaghetti, the eternal enemy of the glob. If only everybody knew that in the terrible horror movie. But yeah, you'd have to give literally 0 rewards for the level 1 mode. That's the only way it would work. In which case, how is that meaningfully different than what we have today with frenemies? Like, that's the question I usually ask people. And yeah, there are changes that could be made. Glob already is positive, by the way. Also can barely see it. Glob is already positive. It killed Crushmore. I mean, I guess technically you're down because paddles, and I don't really understand Metabot. I mean, I know what's going to happen, but... and it also drew a Paschetti, so, like, this actually is working out for Renamon. By the way, the bait here... fantastic. Glob getting bopped up in the north. So yeah, that Metabot, not worth. Not worth right now. Okay, maybe the bait didn't work. Never mind. But yeah, I think, I've said it before, I think there needs to be, the way they do a level 1 mode in Client is they have a tournament mode. And the tournament mode requires a buy-in. So, like, you have to pay an entry fee. The entry fee is either in tiers, in XP, in coffee, some combination thereof, whatever. Ideally, there would be, like, okay, there's a tiers entry fee, and then there's a coffee entry fee that's cheaper, but, it's less coffee, but obviously you'd have to either grind out the coffee or buy it or whatever. Then, so it becomes a resource sink. The events would pay out less than they would collect in entry fees. And then it's just like, all right, you want to play this mode? It's 8-player single elim. That's how they'd have to do it. I don't know how that works for, like, legalities in different parts of the world. Because obviously, like, Hearthstone doesn't do that. Marvel Snap doesn't do that. As far as I know, there really aren't any digital games that have... Like, I played some that do. Pokemon used to have it. Mythgard had a great tournament client, but very few games have in-game tournament clients. Part of that is the effort involved, but I wonder if there's reasons beyond that. Gesundheit, get wrecked. That's the only way I could see them doing it, to be honest. By the way, this Grimes is going to eat. Grimes needs a different effect here, like visual effect. Isn't this the same as the power down? Gesundheit, get bopped. The Metabot snipe. You don't see those every day. Pretty aggressive Hevo. The counter spaghetti? Chat, it's pasta everywhere. Shoving a lot more goodies into everyone's face would help with the level XP problem, though, since leveling becomes harder the higher it is. Going from 28 to 29 on Phobie takes a lot more than going 11 to 12. Yes, I agree they won't do that. I mean, the events have been a good stopgap. I do like the events. They definitely do help, but it's not really sufficient. The game is structured like a mobile game. That's the bottom line. This Grimes really is the angel of death here. Grimes should have skulls, souls around him when they add more, depending on how much he's eaten. I agree. We've talked about that before. I think that would be a great effect. I don't know why it's not on there to begin with. Because, like, that's an obvious thing, right? Like, I think every person who's looked at Grimes has thought, wouldn't it be cool if maybe it's too visually distracting, or they had it and it, like, literally became a resource drain to have that much animation after a while. Like, imagine a Grimes that killed, like, 10 things. And then on your phone is trying to produce that effect. That might be problematic, and maybe that's why. I almost want to make this the thumbnail just because of, like, that's an enormous amount of damage. Got him! Grimes used Bone Storm. It was very effective. Bone Storm! GG, Renamon. GG. Yeah, we'll tack one more on. So apparently this was a tournament game between Shadowforce and Hakunay. Yeah, we did have a little Clopster action for the MVP. So I don't... Whose event was... This was Dios's tournament? What were the rules for Dios's tournament? Can chat fill me in? You watched this already? All right, so you know what's going on, DT? For you, it's just a timing thing. I mean, that's reasonable. That's completely reasonable. That's why I want to set up the weekly ones that are going to be at a different time slot, and they'll just be shorter events. Interesting, both players banking to 7 here, presumably for... Oh, we're getting Spider. All right. I was going to say, like, maybe Hevo? 2.0, that is? Want to try making a tournament one day? It's a very fun but frustrating experience trying to do tournament organizing. There's a Phobies ban rule. Each player bans 2 Phobies and affects both players, so 4 ban Phobies in total. So this is not the tournament that had required Phobies to play, correct? There was another event that somebody was talking about where it was not just bans, but also you must use certain Phobies that each player picked. Also, fear of meeting someone like Claws, Shadowforce, or Alien get absolutely clapped. I mean, the only way you get better... I mean, it's not the only way, but the most effective way to get better is to play against and with people who are better than you. And part of that is getting your ass kicked. Yeah, a little Firkin action. Early Firkin from Hakunay. Banked to 12 from Shadowforce here. Yeah, that's also true. Went on to saying. So Hakunay's Spider now operating with impunity for a few turns thanks to that Firkin. Getting the pick here on the Spider, and of course, it's the once lore, so we get an Akira. The early burn on the Firkin means that this Akira has a few turns of its own immunity. Get a little Spider dance. Chat, I started listening to an audiobook. I've talked about it before. Yep, the matching Akira. Been listening to this audiobook, sci-fi audiobook, and... There's a highly advanced kingdom of spiders. It's actually pretty cool. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm only on, like, chapter 3 so far. I'll post about it in Discord. Yeah, I'm not sure, Anton, on what the reason was. I know that they were giving the game up, but I don't know why. And to be honest, it's like... Even if you enjoy something, at a certain point, you'll eventually get sick of it, right? If we all lived forever, you'd eventually want to change things up, right? And there's no reason that they can't come back to the game either. I mean, that's also true on it. Like, real life can impact it. That's why I usually go back to the quote from the World of Warcraft team years ago. Like, it's possible maybe they don't like the state the game is in. Maybe they've just had all the fun that they want out of the current game state. Maybe they have real life things. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. But the game is here and available if somebody wants to come back. Like, there's no reason you can't. Both players being very cautious here. Playing the long game with the Akira. We're getting the first Akira yoink here from Shadowforce. That takes out the Firkin, which is a big deal. However, this means that there's probably going to be a mean counter pull from Hakunay. Little Clopster action. So this is where I'd expect the Akira to go. I do like the placement of the Innocuous, get that free move. So that's the dead spider. Now, wait, is this spider not active right now? This is interesting, going for the kill here instead of maybe yoinking something. However, with the Octonauty here, if the spider went up, it of course gets counter yoinked and then it dies. And then you're down in the yoink battle, and your opponent also has Akira. The Shadowforce here can, of course, make a play by getting a quick yoink. Diving with the Clopster here. That's a dead spider no matter what. Hakunay, this is not a position you want to be in. Like I said, yoink advantage Shadowforce. Of course, both Akiras are out of play for a while, but this is a 4-to-1 panic point advantage. 7-to-3 keys remaining. It is possible for Hakunay to put a number of other threats on the board. You're one level away from Akira. I'll get it the day after they nerf it. I don't think they can nerf it. I mean, they can, of course, but I don't know that they're willing to do the nerf that is necessary, which is actually nerfing the ability. Changing the health or damage on Akira will, of course, make it worse. You know, nerfing it, obviously. I don't think it materially changes Akira, though. Ooh, we get a blue! Let's go! Get a little blue action. Lobster escaping with its life. The smiley is kind of interesting here. Okay, I was about to say, you cannot leave that thing out there. Hakunay able to stem the bleeding somewhat here. Gesundheit, the final Phobie. 1 key remaining for Shadowforce. I think it might go with pick targets or 3 range plan, but maybe they just leave it broken. I mean, yes, it definitely doesn't affect most players, but unless they change the ability in some fashion, I don't think any changes to Akira matter. Like, legitimately, if Akira was 1 health, 0 damage, it is 99.9% of the time identical. I don't think it's broken. I disagree, but it also is problematic even if it's not broken. Because Akira breaks a lot of rules in the game, because positioning arguably is irrelevant. Because it's global. I mean, yes, the positioning still matters, but in order to meaningfully counteract it, you have to go out of your way to such an extreme degree that I think it is problematic for the game. Things don't have to be broken, overpowered to require changes, including nerfs. They probably want Akira to turn up in tournaments. I don't think, it's my opinion, that tournaments are irrelevant for outside spectators. Tournaments are more an internal, by the way, blue versus smiley here. Lol. Tournaments are primarily for existing player bases. Especially for smaller games like Phobies. One more yoinks. That's a dead Akira. Likely, anyway. Very well played. I know we were talking about a lot of different things and kind of just letting the game play in the background. Pop. Down goes Akira. The long game. Yep. Hakunay making a valiant effort here to try and stave off the inevitable. But, yeah. That's a lot of pressure. That's a Clobster on the stim. Not a thing that happens really all that often. Very well played. Very well played. By both players. This must have drawn the concession, which realistically, yes. Definitely makes sense here. Not much else you can do here. I've gained a lot more respect for mobility utility phobies like Clobster and Gargles. Yeah, we've had some Gargles plays on stream. They're not as bad as people give them, including me. They're not as bad as people make it sound. They are somewhat limited. But I think that there are very few completely useless phobies in Phobies. And what it boils down to is finding the niche scenarios and then engineering them. So, of course, if it's a niche scenario, it's going to show up less than you'd want. But in this particular case, you can, if you are prepared, and that's why I like tournament formats where, especially when you could pick maps, of I want this map because I have a pocket strategy that I know I can catch them on. And like maybe that doesn't work 10 times in a row, but you can surprise somebody with a cool play, including on ladder, until it becomes a regular recognizable thing. And then it's this meta dance of, oh, I see you setting this up, so I start to respond this way, and then you have to respond this way to my response, and you get those interesting plays, and that's how you increase Phobie diversity usage. Bans and all are fine. I'm still of the opinion, don't ban Phobies. But we're working within the confines of a system that we don't 100% control, so it is what it is. GG. See people like that. It's another turn-based game, single player. Probably won't get too many battles because there's a lot of, like, it's an RPG too, so there's, like, a lot of party building and stuff like that that has to get done. But we'll see how it goes. But yeah, definitely a lot of fun tonight. These are some cool games. Got to look at a surprise tournament game gotten mixed in there. Unfortunately, like I said, if we get the patch, it's going to break a bunch of replays, and, well, people are going to send in a bunch of replays with the new Phobies, which I'm pretty excited about seeing. I want to see the new Phobies. I really want to see the new maps. And I'm really curious what other features may or may not be lurking underneath the surface. Are we going to get new bundles? Are we going to get new quality of life things? Are we going to get balance patches? Are we going to get new modes? We've been talking a lot about all of these different things. We'll see what the Phobies team has in store. But speaking of in store, we also have Fright Night 10 coming up. The details will be shared, of course, in my Discord as soon as they are finalized. We're working on getting the weeklies set up. That's going to have to wait a few weeks until I can finally get that rolling. There are some other challenges with it. And keep your eyes and ears open for future details about other events. But for now, everybody, that's going to do it. So as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And Black Lives Matter.